Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Another day's journey. So glad about it and so grateful that you are joining me for another Real Talk with Pastor Waller. I'm very excited about what's going on and very excited about the opportunity to talk with leaders in this city, young people in this city and in our church about what's happening. We're also focusing on businesses and focusing on making connections and networking, because for this next generation, we're going to need to see the emerging leaders, the emerging businesses, and help them and be supportive of them. I celebrate what Jamal Bryant has been doing with Target, and we also celebrate, remember what we said is that we have to remember what we said as was related to the boycott thing. We need to do the boycott thing, but we also need to do the thing that is building up. So while we say what we are against, we also need to talk about what we are for. And we're for Black businesses. So we've been doing Black Up Wednesdays, and now we're beginning to focus on different Black businesses. And yes, as we begin to go in that direction, one of the first businesses we're going to be looking at is one that's very near and dear to my heart, who the leader of is my daughter, Eryka Waller, and the Quinn Center for the Performing Arts. Now, let's deal with the gorilla in the room. She is my daughter, right? But one of the things I need you to know that this whole venture is something that she did without me, without us. You know, some might think that Eryka has this father and this church behind her, but I need you to know the Quinn Center for Performing Arts was all up and in place before she even told me. Now, here's probably what we're dealing with, right? Because Eryka has a bachelor's degree. I know she has a bachelor's degree because I paid for it. I paid for her to go to Temple University and get her bachelor's in social work. And then I know she has a master's in social work because I paid for it. I paid for her to get a master's in social work. When you combine those two things, I did that. And I expected that when I invested in my daughter to be a social worker and have all of that, that she was going to then walk into that world. And I was all excited to find out. And then I knew she could dance. You know, she danced in ministry and so forth. And then after all of those bachelors, the parents in here are feeling me, bachelors and masters and all that investment, she said, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to open a dance studio." Oh, yeah? Well, the whole point is I am so proud of my daughter because she followed her passion. All any of us can ever do, I think every generation, we need to sow into them and we need to prepare them. I've owed her, as I said, I owe my children their degrees and to get them started off. But what I owe them more is to support them in their passion. And so today, the owner, operator of the Quinn Center for the Performing Arts, a wonderful dance studio and wonderful business on Germantown Avenue and wonderful developer of young people, is my daughter, Minister Eryka Lynn Waller. And I want you to hear more about this story because it's an amazing story. The reality is, as a father, when you look at your daughters, you never see anything older than 13. You just don't. That's what happens when you see them. But what I've learned and have grown to love is that there's a whole grown woman here who has a vision, a passion, and she's an excellent business person. So, Eryka, welcome to Real Talk with Pastor Waller. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for letting me come on here with you.
Absolutely. It's all good. Tell us about your journey to make the decision to start the Quinn Center for the Performing Arts. And what is it? Why'd you do it? What is it? And what are you doing?
For sure. Well, just to clarify, I did work as a social worker in the hospital. I worked as a NICU social worker for about 4 years after getting my master's degree. So I did do what they asked. So I was working as a social worker. I graduated my master's. I was working as a social worker. I was doing ministry here at the church, working with the Vessels of Praise Dance Ministry. And I was actively dancing myself in a company in the city. And I just always felt like that there was something more for me to do. I know for me growing up, I always said, like, I saw people and I felt like they all had these specific talents. And I remember saying to myself, like, I don't know that I feel like I have one specific thing that I'm good at. But what I realized in working in ministry and doing social work was I'm really good at, helping young people feel good about themselves and helping them using dance, using my social work. And I kind of combined all of those things. And I remember sitting in my office one day realizing, you know what, like there's probably something else that I could be doing. And that's what led me to start the Quinn Center. And really what it is, it's not your typical dance studio. It is a combination of my social work background with my love and passion for the arts. And really the goal is to build up young people using the art of dance. I'd say that my biggest thing that I want the dancers to take from the studio is self-love, self-acceptance, and self-confidence. And those are things that are lacking in our community, but especially in our young girls. And so that's really kind of where it started. The name came from, as you know, and as some people who have been around the church for a while know, my aunt adopted a child, my little cousin Quinn, and he had passed away when he was 2 years old. And that was a very pivotal moment for me in my life and my kind of emotional journey and struggle and all that. And, for me, even in those 2 short years, Quinn was such a ray of like love and light. And you remember, like, he just brought so much joy to us. And that has always stuck with me. And so as I've journeyed through since that time, I've always kind of kept him a part of my life in some way. And so when I opened this center, I dedicated it to him and named it after him just because of how much he means and meant to me.
So Eryka, for the entrepreneurial spirit that's sitting here watching this, let's not take for granted, even the little things that you had to do that were actually big in starting a business. You had this idea that you wanted to combine your social work world and your dance and art world and make it a business. So what were those steps from, hey, I got an idea, to the first class you taught to young girls?
Yeah, so, it was a lot, actually. So I had to create my business plan. I had to know specifically, my audience, what I was trying to do. Then I need to establish the business. So I established the LLC. Some people do 501c3, but you have to establish that. You have to get your EIN. You have to really, make the business. Then you have to make a bank account for the business. You got to open up the accounts. From there, getting all the legal business stuff together, I had to find a place. I had to find somewhere that I was going to house. And as a first-time entrepreneur with no track record of my business, finding a location was a little difficult because there wasn't years of this is the revenue that we're bringing in, all of this stuff. So I had to find a place. And once I found the place, then I had to get the place customized for a dance studio. That includes, all the mirrors, the flooring, the bars, all that stuff. And then I had to find clientele. And for me, I opened in the middle of a dance season. So a lot of people were already at their studios and things like that. So there was a lot of kind of advertising and putting myself out there and establishing relationships in the city and with kids and parents and all of that. And then, we got through all that stuff and got open, but it does take a lot. It's not an overnight, it's not an overnight experience. No.
And speaking to that, so it's not overnight. So how much time would you say from the time you said, I'm going to do this, to the time you were teaching your first class? How many months and or years was that process?
So I think it was a lot of years of me thinking, years of me thinking about it. But I can say that I established in December of 2018. Okay. And my first class, so I got my EIN and my business was an official LLC with all our like articles of incorporation and all that stuff in December of 2018. And we opened our doors and taught our first class in March of 2019. Wow. So while we were incorporated in December, I still had to use some time to find location, do all of those things. So
Thank you for that. And so if you, as you're listening, and I need you to know how excited I am about this journey, because again, a lot of this was done not in a whole lot of consultation with me. And again, I'm not the end all be all, but Eryka Lynn Waller is really Alyn Waller dipped in female. This is my mini me. And so she really is a go-getter. She really keeps a lot of things close to her chest and just goes and does it. And I'm proud of you. And so I marvel at what you did during that time. And then, of course, if you're checking the record, this is right before COVID. Mm-hmm. So you start a business and then COVID.
Yeah.
How are you still here?
The grace of God, to be honest. Honestly, COVID, like I said, we opened in March of 2019 was our first class. So we had a year, and not even a full year, because in the summertime, you're not teaching typical dance classes. We typically take a break. But March of 2020, mm-hmm. everything shut down. And that was really hard because I didn't know, much like other businesses, I just didn't know how we were going to do it, how we were going to make it. And we did a lot of creative things. I did online dance classes. We still did our show. We rented out a theater, had everyone test before they came in. We would pre-record the show and then stream it. We did a lot of creative things. I know at the studio, I did a School from Here program where if parents had to go to work because they might have been doctors or nurses, or their jobs were not such that they could work from home, their kids could come to the studio and do virtual school. So there was a time where I had about 5 kids, 5 different schools on different computers, and I'm sitting there navigating all of this stuff with them. I just had to think outside of the box and do different things that were going to reach the needs of what was happening in that time. Yeah. It was terrifying, though, because I didn't know everyone's finances changed, and dance is an extracurricular. So that's the first thing to go, when things are going on and you're trying to make sure. No one knew what was happening in COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen the next day. So it was scary, but I'm truly thankful that we were able to survive because a lot of people's and their businesses weren't. Mm-hmm. And I truly attribute it to just the grace of God, to be honest, because I really didn't know. I didn't know.
Gotcha. Yeah. And doing this, we kind of come out of COVID, and then the whole piece with what is her, Jennifer Hudson. How did that, and what doors has that opened?
Yeah, that was crazy. Jennifer Hudson had a segment about people doing good in their community, and unbeknownst to me, someone wrote into the show about me. And I never saw what was said. I just got an email from the producers, and they were like, hey, we would love to talk to you. And so I talked to them, and I'm kind of the type of person that things come to me, but I'm like, that's not really going to happen. No, nothing's going to go anywhere with this. And they talked to me for months. And then finally, they were like, we want to bring a crew out to your studio just to kind of record what you do. And I was like, okay. And then I got the call that they wanted me on the show. And anyone who knows me, well, my dad knows, I love Jennifer Hudson. I love Dreamgirl. That was a crazy moment for me. But honestly, it was the most amazing thing. We got to be on the show. I took 3 dancers with me. And while I was there, Jennifer Hudson surprised me with Debbie Alyn, which was an incredible experience. And I got to have a one-on-one with her where she got to kind of pour into me a little bit about, just what it means to be a Black business owner in the dance world. We got to tour her studio, and then she invited some of our dancers to come to her intensive. So I'm sending 3 dancers this summer to LA to participate in her dance intensive. Okay. And they're going to get to train with her and some other amazing professionals in LA for a month. And I'm just so excited for them. More than anything, what I want to do is give kids opportunities and experiences. I don't want the kids in my program to say that they've never been outside of Philly or say that they've never been outside of their neighborhood. We get the opportunity to, I get the opportunity to share a lot of spaces with them. So we travel. I've taken dancers on cruises. We've danced in Disney. We've done so much stuff because more than dance, I really want to create well-rounded individuals and help be that village for families. So I'm super excited about this summer. I'll be out there with them. So I get to have my little LA time and hopefully spend some more time with Miss Alyn and continue to grow and glean as a dance instructor myself.
So tell us about how someone who's listening right now that said, you know what, I want my son, daughter to dance at the Quinn Center for Performance. How do they connect with you? If you want to talk about pricing or whatever or not, but how do we get to go to your school?
Yeah, for sure. So if you are interested, our website is just www.thequinncenter.org. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's just The Quinn Center. We offer classes for children ages 2 through 18. And we offer classes from September to June. And then in the summer, we do a summer program. So we're actually kicking off our summer program this year on July 7th. And there's still room. So if you're interested, you can totally come join us. But ultimately, just reach out to us. You can send us a DM. You can email us. Go to our website and just get in contact with us. One thing about us is that we don't turn any kid away. So while we have our pricing structure and everything, if there is someone that's like, I really want to come, but we work with you. So I don't turn any student away. I want to make sure that everyone has access to not just quality dance education, but healthy people to help them become healthy people.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And it is your work at Quinn Center. And obviously, I've watched you grow up, right? And I've watched you be involved in theater from, I guess, 3 years old. And so the stuff at Waldron and the community work that you've done, and then my watching how you started your business, that's the reason. She's also on my staff now. This is our pastor of arts. We divided music and arts. You know, the old church language is Minister of Music and Arts or Director of Music and Arts. Well, at Enon, we divided music from arts. And so we have persons over music, and then you are over arts. And so she runs our dance ministry as well as what I like to talk about, the theater or pageant every year around the birth of Christ and the crucifixion of Christ. Talk to us about what that is and what the vision for arts at Enon is all about.
Yeah, so ultimately, one of the things for me is I think a lot of times there's always been dance ministry in church, but my goal is to bring a higher level of art into the church. So I think just continuing to grow our dance ministry and also our drama ministry, in that we're looking like we're professionals, right? Even though we're here in church. And I think that we can do the same things that we would do and have the same standards that we would have outside, inside. One of the individuals that I really love their work is Tyler Perry. And I love the way that he's able to connect what we're going through as Black people and all the significant things about us. So that's kind of what I look at when I'm writing plays for the drama ministry or when we're doing things. I really am
what
looking at what,
do?
Low key, what would Tyler do? Tyler, if you're watching. But no, seriously, because I want to make things relatable, but I want to make things also a way that in a relatable sense, they're learning the gospel and they're grasping those things. And that's really what we've been trying to do with the drama ministry. I would love to see us continue to elevate in our production quality with our actors, and I definitely want to bring some training into the church for our dancers, for our actors, for individuals who want to write scripts, for individuals who want to get more into the arts. I think the church can be the place that, you might not be able to go to a class out in LA or in New York, but we can bring something here where people can continue to hone their craft and, continue to grow and do better. Because ultimately, for many of us, the church is where we get our start. So if that's where you start, it's where you can continue to grow. It's where you can continue to perfect your craft as well. So I'm excited. I think those in all of the arts ministries are really excited about where we can go. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to push it.
Thank you. And in all of this, you did this, and you also sprung something else on us, and you decided, okay, I'm going to be a mom, and you made a choice to adopt. Now, I had some fun, and you all remember at church, and it was hilarious when we announced that you were going to be a mother, and so that was fun. You all have to go back and see the tape. But talk to us about what was your processing to decide that you're going to adopt?
Yeah. Fun fact, I also didn't tell them about that either until the last minute. But no, like growing up, and I think the seed was kind of planted from my aunt and with Quinn. Like I just remember being in third grade, like when she went through her process, and I just remember feeling like, oh, that's really cool. Like that is just so cool. And I knew growing up that I always wanted to. Like, I just always wanted to adopt. I felt like that was how I knew I wanted to become a mother. And I think there's always is it the right time? Like, am I doing too much? Should I do it now? But for me, I was like, you know what? There's no time better than the present. And so when I started the process, I knew that I do a million things and I have my hands in a lot of pots, but this was something that was really important to me. And, there's a lot of people that have said and will say like, oh, like you do too much. How are you going to handle it all? But, I feel like, God has gifted me with this amazing ability to have this energy that I don't know where it comes from half the time. But honestly, I think it's important. It was important for me. And I knew how I wanted to be a mother, and I knew that I could do it. And so I started that journey, and I couldn't be happier with how that journey ended, because it was a significant journey for me. And that was during COVID as well.
Right.
During COVID as well.
Exactly.
So, but honestly, I feel like, the best way to describe it is I just knew. And some people say like, maybe it's a calling, maybe I just knew. And I knew that that's how God wanted me to become a mother. I am just tremendously blessed by Xavier, and you all probably know Xavier. He just brings so much joy and love everywhere he goes, and especially to my life. And so, yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think people need to know, either about the Quinn Center for Performing Arts or about the arts ministry at Enon, that we want to tell them before we get out of here?
Yeah, I guess the one thing I would love to say about the arts is that there's so much healing in art. And I think in the world that we're living in today, we need more of that. We need more spaces, more safe, healthy, creative spaces for people to express, to share, to feel. And ultimately, that is what I created the Quinn Center for. So for me, it's like I said, it's not your typical dance studio. We really care. I really care about the students in my program. I care about their mental health. I care about their emotional well-being. And so before anything, like sometimes we'll come in, we might not even dance that day, but we're going to figure out what's going on. We're going to talk to you. We're going to navigate all life's challenges. And I think more than anything, for all of us, not just kids, adults as well, like we need spaces like that today. So, I'm here for anyone who needs it or who wants it. The Quinn Center is always open for new dancers, boys and girls, but also here at the church, the arts ministry, it's a nice, close-knit community where we really uplift, we care about each other, we want to see each other do well, and we just use the arts to heal.
Well, thank you for that. And one thing that you don't know as we're getting ready to leave, watching you do all of this is what inspired me to go back and get that Master of Fine Arts, because when you followed your passion around doing the whole arts thing, I was like, I got one thing that's still sitting out there. I started out in arts and then, of course, got called into ministry. And COVID hit and the whole piece. And then when I found that there was a way for me in a low residency program to go and get my master in fine arts, part of that motivation, some of it is when you get to a certain age, you want to close some chapters and answer some unanswered questions. But sometimes you need inspiration, and you were my inspiration. The fact that you could go after your arts helped me go after and finish that last chapter for me. So I celebrate you and thank you for it. Gotcha. So now, well, listen, I'm so grateful for your spending time with me and my daughter, Real Talk with Pastor Waller, and I am grateful for you sharing your journey with us. There's an entrepreneur watching us that may know and understand now the work that goes into following your dream, but know this, follow your dream. And for those of you that would like to know more, please reach out and touch base with Minister Eryka Lynn Waller. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in church tomorrow. It's time for us to worship together. And so I bless God that you've spent this time together. So come on, let's go to God in prayer. We're praying for the Quinn Center for Performing Arts, and we're praying for our community and young people to be developed. God, I love you, I bless you, and I thank you. Thank you for what you are doing in our lives. Thank you for the way you continue to show yourself strong. Thank you for Eryka and her vision, her passion, her power. Thank you for the inspiration that comes from her life. I thank you, God, for the arts and what it means to our larger community. Those of us who are artists, help us to walk in it in ways that bring glory and honor to you. So that in our lives, you will get glory and it will be for our good. I pray for our community. I pray for those who will preach the gospel on tomorrow. And I pray, oh God, that the word will go forth and not return void. And Lord, we'll be ever so mindful to give you all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor. It's in the matchless, marvelous, and majestic name of Jesus the Christ, and for his sake we do pray. Let us all say, amen. Listen, love y'all much. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.